Suburban Standoff, a tale of property and madness. It was a Tuesday morning, the kind where the Florida sun paints the world in soft gold, and I was unloading the last of my boxes onto my grandfather's 25-acre ranch. I'd inherited this slice of paradise rolling hills, ancient oaks, and a quiet you can't find in the city after he passed 2 months ago. The deed was clear, dating back to 1962, long before the Sunset Hills HOA sprouted up in the 1980s. I thought I'd escaped the chaos of urban life. But as I sipped my coffee, a woman stormed across my property line, waving homemade genealogy charts and screaming "Trespasser." That's when I met Margaret Hensley, the HOA president who'd turned my peaceful move into a suburban nightmare. I'm Robert Carter, a 52-year-old widower who left a cramped Tampa apartment for this ranch, hoping for a fresh start. The property wasn't part of Margaret's HOA, a fact backed by every legal document I had: deeds, surveys, tax records. But Margaret didn't care about facts. She arrived at 7 a.m. sharp, dressed like she'd stepped out of a corporate boardroom, her navy blazer adorned with HOA pins glinting like war medals. Her laminated charts, looking like a kid's school project, claimed her ancestors were buried on my land. "This is sacred ground," she shrieked, her voice setting off every dog in the neighborhood. I stood there, coffee sloshing over my wrist, feeling like an intruder on my own property as curtains twitched and neighbors peeked. Margaret's performance wasn't just for me. It was theater for the whole street. She paced my driveway, her pristine sneakers crunching gravel, clutching a clipboard with color-coded tabs. She claimed her great-grandmother's spirit guided her, pointing at my house like it was a crime scene. I tried reasoning with her, showing her my 1962 deed, but she waved it off, insisting her ancestral rights trumped my paperwork. The absurdity hit me. I was being accused of stealing land my family owned before she was born. That evening, I found a note under my truck's wiper. "She's not who she seems. Restraining order prevents contact." A friend. No signature, no explanation, just a chill that made me lock my doors twice. Who was watching Margaret? And why were they warning me? The next morning, Margaret returned, escalating her act to Broadway levels. She wore a Victorian morning dress, complete with a black veil and antique jewelry that screamed expensive prop. She set up a folding table at my property line, arranging her charts, a $60 pawnshop compass, and a leather journal where she scribbled my crimes against her imaginary ancestors. Neighbors slowed their jogs, kids gawked, and dogs howled as she wailed about sacred burial sites. It was performance art, rehearsed to perfection. I watched from my kitchen, half amused, half unsettled, as she applied makeup in her SUV like an actress prepping for a scene. I wasn't alone in noticing the spectacle. George Thompson, a 65-year-old retired mechanic across the street, sipped coffee on his porch, eyeing Margaret with weary amusement. "She showed up 3 months ago with a moving truck stuffed to the gills," he told me. Then came the divorce settlement boxes of props, costumes, you name it. "She's spending like she won the lottery." George's observations were casual, but they hinted at Margaret's unraveling life. Her tan line from a missing wedding ring and mail addressed to Margaret Wilson, not Hensley, suggested a recent split. Margaret's antics escalated. She brought a duct-taped metal detector, claiming to search for stolen family jewelry. I watched her plant cheap trinkets in the dirt, then discover them with theatrical gasps. But the real shock came in another anonymous envelope: professional surveillance photos of Margaret's bedroom through open curtains, her costume rack on a clothesline, even her trash with discarded wedding photos. The photos, taken legally from public sidewalks, showed a woman spiraling. A note detailed her routine: 6:30 a.m. mirror practice, 6:45 makeup in the car, 7 o'clock performance. Someone was watching her with chilling precision. I dug into county records and found Margaret had moved here 3 years ago, with no family ties to the area. Her ancestral burial claims were fiction, confirmed by the cemetery board. No graves existed on my land. Her harassment began weeks after a messy 6-month marriage to James Wilson ended. Divorce records revealed her obsession with control, citing past neighbor disputes. The pieces clicked. Margaret was channeling personal trauma into this property feud. Her next act was a survival tent, a portable toilet, and poster boards accusing me of historical injustice. She declared an eternal ancestral watch, turning my fence line into a protest camp. The neighborhood dubbed it Radio Margaret when she blared violation alerts through a portable PA system day and night. Her broadcasts fake legal precedents, fictional family histories made her the most hated person in Sunset Hills. A local news crew filmed her, and the viral Camping Karen clip brought county officials to my doorstep. Zoning officers arrived, unimpressed by Margaret's fake ancestral protection permits. She claimed constitutional rights to camp on my land, but the officer, a seasoned man in his 50s, calmly ordered her to dismantle her setup or face fines. Margaret doubled down, waving more forged documents. Among her scattered belongings, I spotted mail for James Wilson, postmarked recently. Was her ex-husband connected to my anonymous helper? Another envelope arrived, this time with a psychological profile. Subject uses performance to regain control after life disruption. Escalation indicates desperation for dominance. It described Margaret's nightly rituals researching fake legal claims, practicing expressions in her bathroom, mirror details no neighbor could know. The profile suggested James Wilson, her ex, as the source. He'd lived with her, knew her patterns, and had legal access to their marriage counseling records, which noted her control issues and past harassment. Margaret's campaign hit a fever pitch. She broadcasted for 72 hours straight, her voice hoarse, her camp a mess of trash and disarray. Sleep-deprived and unhinged, she climbed my fence, megaphone in hand, proclaiming herself the high priestess of ancestral guardians. She screamed about betrayal, yelling, "My husband documented everything. He's watching me." Her breakdown revealed her pain abandonment, divorce, lost channeled into this delusional crusade. County Mental Health Services intervened with paramedics and HOA board members. Margaret accused them of a grave desecration conspiracy, but after 2 hours of negotiation, she collapsed, exhausted, and agreed to a voluntary evaluation. As she was helped down, her purse spilled, revealing divorce papers with James Wilson's current address. I felt a pang of sympathy. This wasn't just a crazy neighbor, she was a woman unraveling, her pain misdirected at me. Outside the mental health facility, a weary man watched from a distance. Our eyes met, and he approached. "Robert, I'm James Wilson," he said, extending a hand. "I've been your anonymous helper." James, 55, looked drained but relieved. He explained their 6-month marriage imploded due to Margaret's control obsession. When he saw my ranch inheritance in public records, he knew she'd target me, based on her history of territorial disputes. A restraining order kept him from direct contact, so he'd monitored her legally from public spaces, sending me warnings to protect both me and her. James showed me divorce papers, counseling records, and his surveillance timeline 3 weeks of Margaret's escalation, from shouting to megaphones. His notes, precise yet legal, reflected concern, not revenge. He'd hoped to spare me her wrath while ensuring she got help. "She's not evil," he said. "She's hurting, and property fights are her way of coping." A year later, Margaret completed therapy and moved to a supervised community, her control issues managed without the funds to fuel her campaigns. James remarried and moved away, finding peace. My ranch is quiet again, the neighborhood back to normal. Kids bike past my gate, neighbors chat over fences, and the grass has reclaimed Margaret's camp scars. I still check the road some mornings, half expecting her SUV, but the silence is a gift one James helped me reclaim. This ordeal taught me that mental health crises can masquerade as malice, and sometimes help comes from the shadows. James's vigilance, bound by legal limits, saved me from Margaret's chaos and ensured she got treatment, not punishment. It's a reminder that understanding someone's pain can resolve conflicts better than lawsuits. What do you think about this saga of property and madness? Have you faced a neighbor dispute that spiraled out of control? Share your thoughts in the comments, especially on whether unchecked pain can justify chaos, or if justice demands stricter boundaries. Let's hear your stance.